You know, when I experienced loss, it was hard to believe Jesus even heard me. But that's when I started crying out for the first time. At times, God will grant an instant rescue, miraculous healings, immediate freedom. But mostly, it's a journey back while the storm rages on. Our need for the Savior is our secret strength. But one particular day, I know I hit rock bottom. You know, I couldn't go striving solo any longer, and I felt actually lost beyond even a rescue. But let me tell you something, this is a testimony. I remember lies were interrogating me that day, and I literally had no strength left to defend myself. I knew deep down that I needed a God remedy. And I just cried out with an unplanned prayer, I want God. I need God. And just when I felt like I had nothing good left to show in my darkness and confusion, the Savior came to me. I didn't hear booming words, I didn't get a great vision, but in my heart I heard, I am your salvation. I am your deliverer. And at that moment, God's light broke into my life like I never had before. And I knew in an instant, we are not alone. We have never been alone, and we will never be alone. The bravest thing that we can do isn't getting ourselves out of the messes that we find ourselves in, but the courage to call out. The courage to call out. I haven't stopped calling out, and my life hasn't been the same. God has designed a rescue to redeem you from every darkness, and it's Jesus' job to do it. The only hindrance to the rescue is our resistance. We all have a history of sin, but the history of your goodness goes back way further, way further. All Jesus is asking is for us to be open to him and get used to letting Jesus save us. We walked with a woman named Taylor after she got pregnant and stuck in an abusive relationship, and no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't let go until she found a voice that she once suppressed inside of her and met the Savior who loves to save. She said, I called out and he healed me. Jesus set me free from my addiction to that relationship, and now I call on the Messiah every moment of my life. You know, when Jesus rose from the dead, he didn't change his name from Savior. You know, we don't graduate from being saved. Holiness happens when we hand ourselves over to his help again and again and again. Saints are sinners who let themselves be saved by Jesus. Claire told us that after her abortions, she said, I tried 12-step programs, self-help books, acupuncture. Every morning, she said, I'd look in the mirror and say to myself 15 times affirmations, but this didn't make me feel better. Tried fixing my life, but I couldn't. It was years before Claire cried out, but when she did, she said, the darkness, the shame, and my attitude of thinking that I can heal on my own began to melt. Now, God doesn't just want our healing, he wants way more. Where Jesus comes, he saves, and where he saves, he sets us free. God is not expecting you to overcome something to be someone. Where you can't, where you don't get it, where you have a problem with it, Jesus is inviting you to raise your voice in that place. We had a retreat recently where we invited young adults to do this, and we witnessed healings from the shackles of obsession with control, unforgiveness unlocked, identity restored, freedom from plagues of fear. One said, I felt like I had surgery and Jesus came to remove my cancer. Living with a crippling fear of death all my life, I needed real hope and God gave it to me. And another left with her arms raised, I am free. Friends, miracles are the daily bread of believers. They're commonplace for us. So we can ask God without shame, ask ourselves without shame, where are my dead ends? Where am I tempted to despair? What sin seems unshakable? Because the truth is, Jesus could have risen anywhere. Could have been a mountaintop, could have been a temple, could have been a throne. Where does Jesus reveal his light? Jesus chose a messy manger and a cold tomb. places no one else sees, others avoid. Jesus rises in dead places. They aren't a problem to God, they're his priority. What does that mean? The darkest place in your life right now is the destination of his resurrection.